So I'm going to walk you through my group's itinerary, which takes us from North Carolina to Sweden, around 3 cities in Sweden, visiting a variety of different cultural events, museums, universities, historical landmarks, and just a number of other places that we found to be important. But before we get in there, we want to touch on how you do some things in Google Earth. So first, we're going to show you how to turn on the 3D buildings or make sure they're on. You press on the Layers tab, and then you can see me articulating the button to turn it on and off. Moving forward, in order to draw lines to connect our different locations in kind of a chronological order, what you do is you press the line segment shape in the bottom left-hand corner, and here you can see me connecting a few different cities. These are not ones that we're visiting. I'm just making a demonstration of that, and you can actually connect them into a shape if you'd like. And then over here you can name what that segment is. That way you can kind of have an understanding of what your intention is for there. So we were naming these between the destinations. That way we can understand what that line exactly meant. Once you're done, you press enter, or it'll autosave. Press the arrow at the top left-hand corner, and then if you'd like, you can drag it into position in between your destinations or delete it. Thank you. So on our first day, we'll be flying from Charlotte Douglas Airport in Charlotte, North Carolina, where students will be responsible for self-transporting to the airport. Our flight will bring us to the capital and largest city in Sweden, Stockholm. Stockholm will serve as our home base for the first 2 legs of this trip. For the first leg of this trip, but for a total of 2 legs of this trip. We begin our exploration of Stockholm and Sweden in earnest today, moving around the city and surrounding areas aboard our tour bus. Our first stop, we'll be spending some time at the Museum of Technology in Sweden. This is a museum which showcases some of the technological innovations that have come out of Sweden over the past years, as well as of the greater world technologies that are available in Sweden. On day 3, we will again be in Stockholm. Today, though, we will focus on some cultural contributions Sweden has made to the world. We will stop by the ABBA Museum to better understand one of Sweden's most famous exports, ABBA the band, with such hits as Dancing Queen, Mamma Mia, Fernando, and Take a Chance on Me. ABBA has been a chart-topping band and one that people the world over have come to cherish and love. Alright, for our next day, we're on day 4, and today we will be exploring some cultural history and governmental buildings of Stockholm and Sweden. First, we'll visit the Parliament House, Drottningholm Palace, and the Royal Palace. Drottningholm Palace is a World Heritage Site, the private residence of the Swedish royal family, and it is one of the best preserved palaces from the 1600s. We hope students can enjoy this historical experience, as well as some of the rich culture that's available in Sweden and Europe. Alright, so now we're on to day 5, and today we're going to be making our first big move, going from Stockholm to Gothenburg. Gothenburg is the 2nd largest city in Sweden and a seaport of historical and economic significance. Once we drop our bags off at the Sigbergsliden hostel, we will begin with our exploration of Gothenburg, with a visit to the Universium Science Center and Museum. And we'll finish off today with a stop at the Museum of Art, where we can explore some of the cultural aspects of Sweden in addition to the scientific. Day 6, which will be our first full day in Gothenburg, begins with a stop at Haga, a traditional Swedish part of Gothenburg with wood buildings and cobbled streets. From here, we'll move on to the Gothenburg Botanical Gardens, a beautiful area that showcases Sweden's dedication to life on land. And we will end our day with a visit to the City Museum and Kungsportsavenyn, or the Kingsgate Avenue. This road is the heart of the old city and once was the center of the fortified sections of Gothenburg. Alright, so now we are on to day 7, where today we will be exploring a maritime museum that covers some of Gothenburg's history with the sea. before moving on to social activities. First, students will participate in an exciting puzzle attempting to be released from the Gothenburg escape game, and experience a common social activity in Sweden at the Casino Cosmopol Gothenburg. Interestingly, all of the profits from Swedish casinos go into the national treasury for use to support the Swedish national budget, helping to return some of the proceeds of the casino to the people. Okay, now we're on to day 8, which is actually our last full day in Gothenburg. We will take some more of the culture of Sweden, spending time at the Gothenburg Concert Hall and the Volvo Museum. Volvo is another famous Swedish export, known for its reliable and safe cars. They have classical, functional styling and high-tech safety features. And it is not uncommon to see a Volvo anywhere in the world. They're fairly common here in the United States, and so we'll be able to connect the Swedish exports as well as how vehicles are hurting and helping obtain sustainable development goals. Okay, on day 9 we'll be ending our time in Gothenburg, and we'll take a moment to visit the Museum of World Culture before loading back into the bus for the ride to Lund. Lund is a traditional style Swedish town with historic buildings and famous cobblestone streets. We all spend our time in Lund at the Winstrup Hostel, nestled in the heart of Lund, and an affordable options for students or travelers looking to see the sights of Lund and Sweden. So we will start our first full day in Lund off with a visit to the Vattenhallen Science Center, where we will experience some educational activities in a variety of themed rooms such as electricity or physics, weather, and then we will move on by heading to Lund University, where we can see one of the finest institutes of higher education in Sweden and the greater European region. Lund University was founded in the 1400s and continues to be a home of innovative research across the spectrum of fields and draws students from the world. All right, day 11. It's actually going to be our final day in Lund, and we'll start it off with a stop at another of Sweden's beautiful botanical gardens. It is clear how important life on land is to Sweden, and they are willing to invest in the preservation of this plant life. We'll make 2 more stops in Lund, including the Museum of Cultural History, an open-air museum containing structures dating back as far as the Middle Ages, older than any structures that you could find in the United States. This is a great opportunity for students to explore their world's heritage. Day 12 has us making our return back to Stockholm, and we're going to start that off by visiting the premier university of Sweden, Stockholm University. We will then visit the Medelhavsmuseet in Stockholm, a museum that is known for its collection of ancient Mediterranean artifacts. This will be a wonderful opportunity for students to explore ancient civilizations of Europe and view the effects of time on the objects we create. These Mediterranean artifacts cover the history of countries such as Italy, Greece, Northern Africa, Syria, as well as a number of other great civilizations. All right, that takes us to the 13th day of our trip, and we're going to start it off with an exciting stop at one of the premier institutes of Sweden. AI Sweden, which is an institute that is researching information regarding artificial intelligence. They work to identify new and innovative applications of artificial intelligence to help Sweden, and they are attempting to ensure that Sweden remains at the cutting edge of innovation and application of artificial intelligence technologies. All right, on to day 14, we're once again in Stockholm, and today we will be exploring some of the city government centers, starting off at the Stockholm City Hall. Here, local officials decide policy to direct the largest city in Sweden. Next, we'll move on to the corporate headquarters of Ericsson, one of the largest companies in Sweden and the leading information technologies organization, which is providing computer systems and networking supplies for the world. Our final day in Sweden, day 15, we will visit the Nobel Prize Museum, which has been erected to honor the most innovative and dedicated scientists in our world's history. The award is dedicated to honor the persons who in the previous year created the greatest benefit to mankind. Finally, we have our last stop in Sweden at the Rosendals Trädgård, a beautiful open garden in the heart of Stockholm. Again, on this final full day in Sweden, we will get to see Sweden's dedication to improving the world through both science and beauty. Okay, day 16, this is going to bring our trip to an end. We are going to return to the United States via the Stockholm International Airport to Charlotte Douglas. Here, students will again be responsible for taking themselves and their many new memories home. We hope the students of Appalachian State have had an enjoyable trip where they've learned something about the culture, the science, and the sustainability of Sweden, one of the most progressive nations in the world who is making full-throated efforts to interface information technologies into their ability to obtain some of the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. So thank you for watching this video, and we hope it's found enjoyable and educational.